And it means, finally, that government at all levels must meet its obligation to provide you with the fullest possible information outside the narrowest limits of national security, and we intend to do it. It was early in the 17th century that Francis Bacon remarked on three recent inventions already transforming the world: the compass, gunpowder, and the printing press. Now the links between the nations, first forged by the compass, have made us all citizens of the world, the hopes and threats of one becoming the hopes and threats of us all. In that one world's effort to live together, the evolution of gunpowder to its ultimate limit has warned mankind of the terrible consequences of failure. And so it is to the printing press, to the recorder of man's deeds, the keeper of his conscience, the courier of his news, that we look for strength and assistance, confident that with your help, man will be what he was born to be, free and independent.
What I and fellow concerned citizens will explore in the coming episodes is the exact nature of this dark entity, or in the words of John F. Kennedy, this monolithic and ruthless conspiracy. I invite you to listen to what I say, oppose it, welcome it, correct it. In doing so, we take the very first step required by people to regain control of our society. We begin not to think of a mass, but for ourselves. The media has failed us. Our politicians bicker in conflict over the trivial and small. Within this conflict, the illusion of choice sustains many. As a consequence, overt attempts to erode our civil liberties and freedoms has become a regular daily occurrence. In all free societies, individual liberty is the most valued and protected national treasure. In all totalitarian regimes, it's always the first to go. It was once said that those who sacrifice liberty for security deserve neither, simply because we cannot trust leaders to resign power once we let them have it. If history has taught us anything, it's that it's too great of a risk.
Gulfstream jet that crash-landed in Mexico in late September bearing a load of nearly 4 tons of cocaine was used by the CIA for trips between the U.S. and Guantanamo Bay. But that's just the tip of the iceberg.
I speak as a retired international covert operative for the Drug Enforcement Administration. What we're uncovering here through the hard and courageous work of journalist Bill Conroy is something nobody, Central Intelligence, FBI, they don't want this out there. They don't want anybody peeking under the rugs that Mark is talking about this plane crash carrying 4 tons of cocaine. Any kind of corruption you could imagine occurs. And when you talk about 4 tons of cocaine coming into the United States with the involvement of a man who worked as a pilot for CIA, DEA, and FBI, who was obviously somebody who was a shaker and a mover. His jet crashed in late September of this year in the Yucatan. It had about 4 tons of coke on it, and it flew out of Fort Lauderdale to Mexico, and from Mexico to Colombia, Rio Negro, Colombia, is where it took off from, which is just outside of Medellin. And it obviously picked up the coke in Colombia and was headed back toward our neck of the woods. Yeah, and that's the route. Right, and it was gonna land at an airport, again in the Yucatan. Probably, from what I've been able to gather, loaded down with that much cocaine and had to refuel. Yeah, exactly. As they said, someone didn't grease the deal right. In the airport they were going to land at, there was a shift change, and they wouldn't let them land. So they went to another airport, tried to land, they couldn't land there, and they basically got stranded in the air, ran out of fuel, and had to ditch it, and that's how they got caught. So it was a deal that went bad, apparently. What's come out on it so far is the jet that they were flying, we got the FAA records on it, and the Europeans have been looking into the rendition flights that the CIA, the agency, was running for Guantanamo, and these tail numbers on this jet that crashed show up